Okay, let's get going. I'm Dr. Robbie Wyatt, Chief Clinical Officer for Ergo-Flex Technologies, home of the Back on Track, Knee on Track, and Total Brain and Body O2. And today we're going to be talking about sales. Okay, I know sales is a dirty word for a lot of docs, but it is actually what fuels your economic engine in your practice, right? So we've got clinical mastery, but we also have to feed our economic engine, because the reality is that your staff and you are not getting up and leaving your families every day for any other reason than to make an economic change in your life. All right, so let's talk about sales. It's a very real thing. It is the thing that actually moves your patients into action. Now today, I'm going to be talking about a system that I learned through Close for Chiro. I originally was trained by Dr. Barry Anderson and Dr. Daniel Bay in Everest, back on the mountain. Dr. Barry Anderson actually passed away, and then that split off into Close for Chiro with Dr. Bay, Dr. Daniel Bay, Jennifer Rosenhart, and Sean Rundle. So the system that I'm talking about today is actually theirs. Now, I'm not going to give you script for script. I'm not going to give you all the inside secrets of those systems, because it's their system, okay? But I will give you my experience on why it works and how to use it effectively in your clinic, and actually on how to sell what you need to sell for your patients, okay? So I'm going to be smacking with the hammer a little bit all day today. So I'll write this up here. Take a look at that. I'm going to write this Close for Chiros, just like it sounds. F-O-R-E, F-O-R, Chiro.com. I had Dr. Daniel Larson actually went this past weekend to masterclass and had a fantabulous time. Dr. Jennifer Rosenhart spoke very, very highly of him. He did fantastic. So thank you, Dan, for going out there and learning the system. So people buy what they want and beg for what they need, all right? As a profession, chiropractors have, over the past 100+ years, gotten up on their soapbox and talked about how chiropractic is the most awesome thing on the face of the planet. It is the best healthcare system on the planet to keep you healthy and well, okay? Problem is that the more we scream it, the less people take action. You know, the statistics are anywhere from 2 to 7%, or sometimes even lower than that. That's all the population that typically chiropractor sees. So again, we have to take action. We need to find what it is that's going to move patients to action, okay? Action, right? There is not a patient that has ever came into your clinic and spent an hour with you just to kick the tires, all right? They came in for a reason. They came in to get help, all right? And the reality is that there was something that happened in that encounter that failed to get them to take action. Where's that light coming? Is it that one? You just unplug that light, please. I think it's that one. I don't know if it's that one. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, try that one. So failed to take action. There's not anybody that's not coming in. They're there for a very specific reason, okay? It's not that one. Where is it? I'll find it. Yeah, we'll find it. It's okay. So it didn't take action. So number one, you got to actually build rapport with that patient. You are going to be building a case. You're going to be building a case, just like the district attorney, so that that patient will move to action, all right? So we have to do all of our doctor stuff, okay? The OPPQRST, that's important. We have to document. We are held to those standards. As a matter of fact, we're held to the highest standards when it comes to that. But the first step in all of this is actually building rapport, okay? All right, so when I learned this system, I went from having patients sitting in an exam room waiting for me to I would meet the patient in the waiting area and walk them back to the exam room. It is that one. No, it's not. It's okay. You know what? It's the door. Move the chair in front. So we need to move that patient to action, and rapport is critical, okay? When I went and got them from the front desk area, in the waiting area, I'd walk up and say, hey, Mr. Smith, I'm Dr. Wyatt. Glad to meet you. Come on, let's get started. Not only did I get to now have a chance to walk them to the back, now I'm going to see how they move, how they get up out of the chair, and how that happens. Okay, but I get to ask them something. You know, our weather's been, man, we had a ton of rain this morning. Thanks for making it into your appointment. I had a hard time coming in, so I imagine you did as well. Okay, I really appreciate that. And Mr. Smith, you go by Andy or Andrew? By Andy. Okay, gotcha. All right. So is it okay if I call you Andy? Andy. All right. Yeah, I know I'm John, but I go by Robbie. All right. So now I have permission to give him his name that he likes to use. That is critical. That is a sales point. That is a long-known, well-known sale. I have to have permission and actually in order to be able to call him Andy. Okay, not Andrew, not Mr. Andrew Smith, but Andy. And you're going to want to use that name as much as possible. All right, Andy, go ahead and have a seat there. Tell me, what brings you in today? So first thing we're going to take a look at after we do rapport is the hot button. Okay, and why do I call it a hot button? Because I was talking to a young doc this past Friday who flew in to take a look at equipment from Pennsylvania, ended up buying it back on track and a knee on track. Less than a year out of school and is kicking butt in practice. Because how long do you typically take with your initial patient visit? An hour and a half. So, wow, hour and a half, right? Well, yeah, we do everything. I said, okay. I said, how many different areas are you looking at? Well, I'm looking at all of them. I got you. Okay, so if somebody comes in and goes, I got headaches and I got shoulder pain and my right knee hurts and my left ankle hurts and my back gives me some trouble. Got it, Andy? Out of your headaches, shoulder, low back, ankle, knee, whatever it is, you know, they give you a long list. You got to figure out what it is that you're going to be actually talking about. What's actually going to move them to action? So, Andy, out of all those areas that you just told me, neck, shoulder, low back, knee, and ankle, which one's the most important to get fixed today? Well, man, my shoulders really give me trouble, especially in the morning. Yeah, Andy, I understand it's hard to kind of get them all sorted out, but what's the one that's really giving you the most trouble? What's the one that really gives you the biggest problem that you want to get corrected? Well, that's my low back. Okay, got it. Now, I'm not going to forget about the neck and the shoulder and the knee and the ankle, but for right now, we're going to focus in on that low back. Okay. As I go through the exam and consultation, I'll be looking for things that help us with those other areas. Is that fair enough? Yes. Now I have permission. Now I've taken an hour and a half history and turned it into a 5-minute history. Okay. That's the hot button. That is absolutely critical. Otherwise, you're going to be spending crazy amounts of time behind a closed door. All right. The last practice I was in, I was an associate doc. Okay. The owner doc, there was 2 chiropractors in this clinic. We averaged anywhere from 100 to 125 patients a day on a 3-day work schedule. The half day was actually new patients only in 4 to 5 days. Okay. We scheduled for both docs, we scheduled 8 patients every 15 minutes. So if I was, and we knew that at day 1, this is actually the day 1 I'm talking about, should take us 15 to 20 minutes. So that means I know that as a doctor, if I'm treating somebody 5 minutes in a cycle, that I'm probably only going to treat 4 to 5 patients in a 15-minute period of time. That means there's at least 4 to 6 patients probably waiting on me by the time I get. So I got to move. I mean, this is a volume practice. You know, I'm not spending a bunch of time in there. I've got to get going and get moving. So you've got to get to the hot button. That is critical. Get to the hot button. Don't forget about the other areas, but you got to get to the hot button. Okay. So now the next one is temporal or time. Okay, Andy. So tell me, how long has the low back pain been giving you trouble? More than a couple months? Now this is critical. Remember, you're building a case. Okay. Yeah, it started last week. Gotcha. So before last week, when was the first time you ever had any type of low back pain? Oh gosh. Yeah, my first time I was like 13. I go, okay, how long ago was that in years? Well, I'm 29, so how many? That, you know, it's more than a decade. So I got it. How many years ago was that? That was 16 years ago. it's critical that you actually pin them down onto how long it was, okay? Because if you ask me, I've been having low back pain for the past 35 plus years. I'm building a case, right? It started hurting last week. Well, when was the first time you ever had low back? The very first time, okay? Now we go from 1 week to 16 years. Now we're building a case. Hey, man, this isn't just a last week problem. This is a 16-year problem. Okay? That's critical. Now you go into past medical history, okay, and current medical history. Now, this is how you do this, all right? So Andy, I need to find out that maybe what's happened in your past could be contributing to what's going on with your low back pain right now. Have you had any slips, falls, car accidents, fall off a building, anything at all? Well, I played football. Gotcha. So tell me a little bit about football. How you play junior high, high school, college? Yeah, I played all the way through college. Where'd you play? I played at UT. I said, oh man, it's a D1 school. That's pretty amazing. Wow. Where did you play? Okay. Well, I was a cornerback. Really? Man. Now, guys, I am not a sports guy. Okay. It's not my gig. You talk about fishing and hunting all day long. I am on board. But I'm going to key in on the fact that he is a D1 college player cornerback. All right. So this kid has been getting tackled since he was 13 years old, having head-on collisions 5, 6, 7, 10 times a game. All right. That is significant. You need to talk about that. All right. Got it, Andy. So you've been playing football since, gosh, you were 8, 9, yeah. Okay. And how cornerback? You always play cornerback? Well, I played all positions until I started specializing in high school. Gotcha. So how many times would you get hit in the game? Oh gosh, I don't know, 20, 30 times. Yeah. Starting to make sense. Why you have the back end. So I'm building a case, guys. I'm trying to figure it out. Now, they're all not layups like that. You ever had any car accidents? No, I never had any car accidents. Okay. Well, I did have that. When I was 16, I rolled my truck 12 times, but I was okay. Everything was fine. I mean, how many times does that happen, right? Okay, wait, hold on. When you were 16, you rolled the truck 12 times, totaled the truck, totaled yourself. Okay, starting to make sense why you're having the back pain for the past 16 years. All right. So you gotta check into that. So current medical history as well. Okay. So I need to know what's happened recently. So why did it start up a week ago? Oh, I stepped off a curb and jammed. Gotcha. I stepped off a curb. So that's all there is. Now the next one is treatment sought. All right. So tell me, Andy, what have you done to get this problem corrected? I've gotten a massage. Got it. All right. Is that the only thing? Well, I've had a couple of injections. Okay, tell me what kind of injections you have. They put you to sleep and then they in the back. So, okay, how long ago were those? About 6 months ago. Okay, so how many of those have you had over the past 16 years? I usually get them every 6 months or so. So you get an injection every 6 months, or you get a series of injections. They usually come in groups. Yeah, I usually get 1 or 2 injections in a year. Okay, 1 or 2 injections a year. What else you do? Well, I saw a chiropractor when I was in college. Gotcha. How many times did you see him? I'd see him after every game. Got it. How many years did you do that? I think my senior year. Got it. So injections, saw a chiropractor. What else you done? Oh, that's right, massage, and what else? That's pretty much it. I said, how often do you take Tylenol or Advil? Pretty much every morning. How long you been doing that? Gosh, since I was playing in college. You've been taking Tylenol at least once a day for the past, how many years? Probably 5 years. Okay, that's really important. So I want to recap this. You get massages. You've been to see a chiropractor. That was your senior year. You saw it at least once after each game. Every 2 to 6 months, you get an injection with epidural steroid injections. You've been taking Tylenol at least once a day for the past 5 years. Is that correct? Yeah, that's correct. And it hadn't fixed the problem yet. I guess not. I'm building a case, guys. I'm looking at it. I'm checking it out. If y'all have any questions, please post. Okay, and as I get into this, I may get a little lost, but so if you have any questions about this, please post. Again, I'm building a case. I got to dig. I got to look. He said it's last week. It's 16 years. I got to talk about all the different things that he's done, and I need to point out, hey, that stuff hasn't corrected it, because I'm going to be the solution. All right. Here's a part of the dirty little secret of what I'm going to tell you today. It's not your equipment that they're buying. It's you. You're the solution. Okay. Now you want to talk about subjective quality of pain. Subjective, guys. Now this is where most docs get in trouble. Okay, this is your BAS 0 to 10. What we have been trained on is objective. When you hand somebody an objective pain scale, it is like them speaking, like you speak in Swahili to them. Okay, understand what they're giving you and what you're expecting them to give you are two completely different things, okay? If you ever do comp or PI, you understand people get stuck on one number. I'm an 8, I'm an 8, I'm an 8. They've been an 8 for 6 months, right? Every time they come in, I'm an 8 out of 10. How is that possible? All right, so understand it's subjective. It's on them. It's what it is that to them, because you know what? You got a mom who had a cesarean or had an epidural. They don't know what a 10 out of 10 in childbirth is. Okay, they were drugged up when it happened. Okay, all right. You know, if you got a 10-year-old who, you know, who's been shot 3 times, that kid knows what it's like to have a 10 out of 10 on objective pain scale. Okay, right. So now, Andy, I need to know what kind of pain levels you're having. So we're going to talk about a scale from 0 to 10. 0 is absolutely no pain. 10 is the worst pain you've ever experienced in your life. It's like someone poured gasoline on you and lit you on fire. 30 seconds later, that's a 10. So when your back pain is at its absolute worst, what is it on a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being the absolute worst? You mean right now? No. When it's at its absolute worst. When it's at its absolute worst. 8. Gotcha. I may need to know what pain level it is right now, but I need to know what it is that's going to move them to action. I'm still building my case, right? What's more important, knowing how bad it really is when it's at its absolute worst, or what it is right now? They're standing in front of you. Unless you got a patient, and I've had patients literally crawl from the parking lot into my office screaming and crying, okay? I've had hundreds of patients like that. Those are rare events. Most of the time, they don't take action until they can actually get out of bed. So you need to know what it is. So he's an 8 out of 10 at its absolute worst. Okay, if you want to know what it is right now, you can. But see how that diminishes? Well, I'm a 4 out of 10 right now. Gotcha. So it's an 8 out of 10 when it's at its absolute worst. Explain to me when it's at its absolute worst. Oh gosh, I can't hardly breathe. It takes me, it's like first thing in the morning. If I move my big toe, I start screaming. It takes me 2 hours to get out of bed. You know, that's a good description. That's an 8 out of 10, right? Now I got something I can work on. So Andy, tell me when it's an 8 out of 10. Explain to me exactly how it feels when it's an 8 out of 10. I scream if I move my big toe. Gotcha. Are you having pain going down your leg? Yes. Feels like someone laid a hot piece of rebar down the back of my leg. Gotcha. Takes my breath away. Takes me 2 hours to get out of bed. Got it. All right, takes you 2 hours of bed, hot piece of rebar, you move the big toe, you scream. Now, we're going to go on into what I call, what Coach Ricardo calls life effect, okay? And that actually equals the emotional connector. All right? I'm still building my case. I want to know what it is that's going to make this patient take action, because they buy what they want and beg for what they need. Right now, that guy, he needs it, right? It takes him 2 hours to get out of bed. He's 8 out of 10, he moves his big toe, he screams. I need to know why he wants it. All right, Andy, I want to set some goals with you so that you know what I'm doing is actually working. So what is this back pain that you lay in bed for 2 hours and move the big toe and scream? What is that keeping you from doing, or keeping you from doing the way you want to? oh God, I got to get out of pain. I got it, Andy. You want to get out of pain. That's where most doctors stop right there. They want to get out of pain. Well, I want to get out of pain too, but why do I want to get out of pain, right? What is the reason why he wants to get out of pain? So you got to dig, okay? And it's not comfortable, but you're the doctor, and this is what you need to do, okay? It's a doctor thing. You need to figure out, and this is a sales, this is an influence thing, right? Because you say, okay, if you're 99% of the doctor, you just want to get out of pain, great. Oh my, you start salivating. Yeah, I got a patient that wants to get out of pain. Guess what happens when they get out of pain? They're not coming in anymore. There's no reason for them to come in anymore because that's their only emotional connector. If you don't have a better emotional connector or life effect than get out of pain, guess who's gone in 6 visits after you've seen them over 2 weeks? Because we're that good. We get people out of pain that fast, but we haven't corrected it. So that's why you hear when, especially that young doc that came out last Friday, you know, they're really hard to get to schedule when we start to get them feeling better. I said, yeah, I know, that's hard. It is. It's hard to get them to schedule, right? But you have to find them. So you dig around. So gotcha, Andy, you just want to get out of pain. So like you said earlier, it takes you about 2 hours to get out of bed, move your big toe, you scream, hot piece of rebar. If we could get you out of bed and get you moving faster than that, what would that do for you? Oh, man. I wouldn't have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get to work at 9. Got it. So look, help me out. It's a doctor thing. I need to really understand what's going on here. So if we get you out of bed so that you can get to work, so you don't have to get up at 4 to get there at 9, what would that do for you? Well, man, I wouldn't be such a bear at work. You're bear at work because has your boss noticed? Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm here today. Gotcha. So your boss has noticed. Kind of grouchy at work. We get you less grouchy at work. What would that do for you? Oh man, gosh, you know, I'm in sales and rentals, right? So I rent big equipment. So my paycheck gets bigger the more I produce. Okay, guys. Well, hey man, I love to make more money. We get you out of pain, get you out of bed in less than 2 hours, so you can get to work less of a grouch, so you can be more productive, so you can make more money. And if we get you making more money, what would that do for you? Oh man, you know, we're not. It's a big if we're going to be able to go to Disney World this year with my 2 daughters. Ah, okay. So you want to go to Disney World with your daughters? How old are they? 6 and 9. What are their names? Savannah's 6 and Ashley's 9. Gotcha. Yeah, they grow up fast, don't you? So, Andy, that's a really good goal. We need to get you to Disney World. When y'all planning on going? End of July. Okay, we don't have a lot of time. We got to get you going. So we get you making more money. So you make that trip with your daughters, Savannah and Ashley, 6 and 9. You know how fast they grow up. Yeah. Now I have a massive emotional connector to motivate him to get care past what he needs to in order to get out of pain. All right. So now there's an exam segue, okay, that you need to do. Right. You need to tell him why you're about to do what you're doing. All right, Andy, the next step is we're going to take a real close look at you. I'm going to do a neurological, I'm going to do a muscle and orthopedic exam. I'm going to be taking a look at what's going on with this leg. I'm also going to do a specific subluxation exam. All right. Subluxations are when the bone is not moving correctly in your spine. That means that the nerve is getting choked off, and then the muscles around that nerve are actually tightening up. So instead of being nice and supple, it's more like a cord of steel. Okay. I'm going to be looking specifically. Now, remember, you talked about your head, your shoulder, your knee, and your ankle. I'm going to be looking in the exam specific to that. Right? You go through your exam, neurological, orthopedic, and your muscular exam. As you're finding problems, you need to pick those out. So with this guy, you imagine he's laying flat on his back. You pick up his left leg because that's his non-symptomatic leg. He goes up to 90 degrees, right? All right, that's good. Perfect. You go to his straight laser on the right leg, and he goes up to 30, and he comes flying off the table because it hurts so bad because you fired off that leg. So, Andy, that's a problem. That nerve's getting choked off. The other side, how far up you went, that's normal. We only went to 30 degrees here. That's a problem. We got to get that corrected. Right? Now we're on to the subluxation exam. And you're talking to him as you go. Okay? So, you start off at their hot button. you're going to have, I typically did, see, I jam my thumb at L5S1 on the right side and dig because I wanted a response from it, all right? So Andy, that's a problem. It shouldn't respond that way. Matter of fact, you feel how like there's a cord of steel right here, that muscle's just all knotted up. And when I come over here and push on the bone, it really lights you up. It feels like I'm pushing on a brick wall. That's a problem. That's what we call a subluxation. Move up to a segment that's moving correctly, if you can find one. That's important. Push on the bone. You feel that, Andy? That's the way it's supposed to move. That's good. You feel this muscle over here, how nice and supple. It's almost like pushing in the butter. That's the way that should be. So from here, this is normal. That's not normal. Bang, that's exactly what you go into, okay? Now, recap your exam really quick. Andy, I found that the nerve's getting pinched off all the way down your leg. That's called sciatica, straight legs. Your L5 nerve root, I think, is getting pinched off there. We found subluxations in your low back. When I have you bend back and lean to the right, you also create pain down that right side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do x-rays. I'm going to take a look at your neck, your mid-back, and your low back. Take a look at your pelvis as well. Notice I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not asking. This is what I'm going to do. That's going to give me more information specific to what's happening for you. Now we're on to x-ray, okay? After you're done with x-ray, I highly recommend that you come back to this chart, okay? I'm going to bleed all over this chart because I'm going to sit him down and I'm going to justify why I'm not going to, first of all, treat him first day outside of getting ice or a TINS unit, okay, or instruct him on some type of over-the-counter med if he's that hurting that bad, or if it's bad enough, I send him out for pain management. But I'm going to justify right now why I'm not going to touch him on the first day, all right? So Andy, I want to go over what I found in your subluxation neurological muscle and orthopedic exam today. So based on that exam, especially I picked that leg up, I know that you have nerve pinched off right there, specifically at L5. I'm also thinking you got a subluxation at L3 and L4, okay? That's where you have so much tension in the low back. It's one of the big reasons why it takes you 2 hours to get out of bed. Now those nerves are what's going down that leg, but they also go to the large and small intestines. Constipation, diarrhea, irritable bowel, yeah. As a matter of fact, doc, I've been constipated the past month. Gotcha, it makes a lot of sense based on what I found in your low back. Those nerves go directly to that area. How's your sex life? Do you have any problem with erectile dysfunction? Yeah, I am. Yeah. That's what I suspected because those nerves go directly to your sex organs. Any problems with going urinating or bowel or bladder? Right? We got to hit cauda equina. We want to make sure that that's known. So you know when to go to that. Gotcha. Okay. We also found subluxations in your upper back. Those nerves go directly to the heart and lungs. Racy, skippy heartbeat, chronic cough, shortness of breath yet. No, I'm doing okay. Great, Andy. I just want to make sure it doesn't turn into that because those nerves that feed the heart, feeding the heart is really important, don't you think? Yeah, absolutely. You talked about those headaches. I've done subluxations in the top of the neck. Those nerves go up and over the top, can create headaches here, ringing in the ears, temporal headaches, frontal headaches, headaches that are like a crown that bore through behind the eyes and blurred vision. Any problems like that yet? I have headaches at least twice a month that keep me from going to work. And Andy, that's a problem. You got to get that corrected. Right? So now I got problems here, here, and here. And I'm bleeding all over that. So Andy, what I need to do is I'm going to sit down. I'm going to review my notes on your neurological, muscle, orthopedic, subluxation exam, compare that to your x-rays, and figure out exactly what we need to do to correct it. Fair enough? All right, come on up front. Let's get you back in. I want you in as soon as tomorrow as we possibly can, and I want your wife here with you. Can we make that happen? Yeah, Doc, definitely. Guess who's taking this home? That goes home with the patient because they're going to go home and tell their wife, all right? I'm going to bleed all over that because now their low back, their neck is now erectile dysfunction, constipation, racy, skippy heartbeat, and everything else, okay? We know this is happening, but that's how you build it. If I just scream at them that if you don't get subluxation you removed, you're going to have headaches and your heart's going to blow up, and if I start screaming that stuff to them, they just turn off, right? So this is how you build a case. All right, so now, day 1, day 2, they're coming back because the reality is, remember, I need to do that in 10 to 15 minutes because I'm going to have 4 to 8 patients waiting on me when I come out, even when the other doctor's adjusting. That's how you keep your day going, okay? All right, any questions, No. All right, so now let's talk about your day 2, all right? Again, remember, we are working to move that patient to action. We just built our case, all right? The case has been built. So you take your time, mark up your x-rays if that's what you do, all right? And when they come back, it's time to rock and roll. Now remember, at the end of their day 1, after I hand them this, I guarantee you they're ready to buy, all right? The reason why I send them away is I want them, number 1, think about it. Number 2, I want their partner there. If we can have them there, because the partner's actually going to be their support partner, or they're also going to be, they may be the money maker, or the money decision maker, right? So I want both of them there. Now there are ways to figure out who you got in front of you, personality testing, so on and so forth. I've got some interesting stuff you want to know about that. So, but they're up here, right? When they leave on day 1. If it's 3 days that go by, they're emotionally, they're down here, right? So I got to bring them back up, right? So the first thing I get is report on day 2. I got to go back to report. And if they got a spouse with them, I need to get the spouse. Hey, Andy, good to see you again. Come on in, let's have a seat. Is this Michelle? Okay, gotcha. Michelle, it's so nice to meet you. I appreciate you coming in with Andy. We got a lot of things to talk about. But here's the thing. If he failed to tell me anything, I want you to speak up, okay? Because spouses are really good at keeping secrets if the other spouse isn't here, right? So I'm counting on you. So I just brought her into the fold, right? Wives will definitely tell what their husband did not tell, okay? Husbands will do the exact same thing, okay? So I built rapport. That is critical. Now I got to go back up the ladder. Remember, they're up here, right? I got to go back and find their emotional connection. All right, I got to say, Andy came in with neck pain, right shoulder, left knee, right knee and left ankle, but that low back was the thing that was really giving you most trouble. Matter of fact, taking you 2 hours to get out of bed, you move your big toe, you're screaming. Right, Michelle? Oh, it's horrible. So bad that we don't know if we're going to make our Disney trip. I know. And that was one of Andy's big goals, is to be able to spend time with Savannah and Ashley, because, you know, they're growing up so fast. So his big goal is so that he can get more productive at work, so he can save more money, so y'all can go do that big Disney trip. I've just taken him right back up. I have taken him up, and I brought the wife on board. Okay? Went right back to the emotional connection, the life effect. Okay? Now, here's the next one. It's cheesy, but it works. Good news, bad news. So Andy, here's the good news. No, excuse me, it's always bad news first. So, Andy, there's good news and bad news. The bad news is you've got a serious problem that's going to get worse if we don't get it taken care of. As a matter of fact, I've seen these problems actually end up in surgery within just a few months. The good news is I have a solution for all of this. It's just a matter of getting in there and getting it working. Fair enough? Fair enough. That's all it is, okay? Now, the next step is you're going to tell them what you're doing, okay? So I'm immediately going to go to the bone model, all right? If this is a poster for you, is a phase degeneration chart, whatever it may be, I like the model, okay? So I simply pull out my model. I said, Andy, this is what we want to see in your spine. Nice smooth edge bones, big disc spaces, a nice curve, and plenty of room for this nerve. See that big tunnel? That's normal. Now, slips, falls, playing college, D1 as a quarterback, we can simply move into here very quickly. Start to have roughening of the bones. You see how that disc is getting smashed down? Loss of space. That tunnel gets smaller. That's when we start having big time problems, okay? If we don't correct it here, it gets worse. Matter of fact, it'll end up at a phase 2. More roughening of the bone, less space, more problems with the nerve. If we don't correct it there, it'll get worse. Phase 3. Phase 3, see how there's almost no space? More roughening of the bone. And then we have almost no space here in the nerve, okay? This is typically where people are really considering drugs, considering surgery. As a matter of fact, there's a phase 4. I don't even have a model for it. If you're that bad, I basically can't. So what I want to show you is your x-ray. Now here's critical for your x-ray. X-ray, you must have a normal under hot button. Normal hot button. So for this guy, he's got an L5S1 that's completely trashed, right? He's 29 years old, he's got a phase 2, early phase 2, and on his lateral x-ray, he's got literally no disc space in his L5S1. That's his x-ray, right? So I need to have a normal x-ray, put that normal x-ray up. This is what normal should look like. Okay, this is not you, this is normal. Nice gentle curve, see those big spaces here, 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 and here. That big curve, and then you see these big tunnels. That tunnel is where the nerve lives. See how big those tunnels are? That's what it should look like. Now here's your x-ray. Slap up their x-ray, or bring it up on your screen, whatever it is, and be quiet. And ask the simple question. Andy, what do you see that's different between normal and your x-ray? Well, there's no space right there. You are absolutely correct. There is no space right there. As a matter of fact, there's no tunnel. That's where that nerve exits. That's why you're having this hot searing pain going down the back of your leg. That's why when you move your big toe, first thing in the morning, you're screaming. That's what's keeping you moving from Disney. That's a problem. We got to get that fixed. That's all it is, right? You pull those down, you move on to the next thing. Now, actually, excuse me, you come back to that and you say, Andy, based on the phases of degeneration, what phase would you say you're in? Gosh, doc, I think I'm a phase 3. I totally understand why you think that. Matter of fact, Andy, you're between a phase 1, phase 2, okay? Now, what happens if we don't do anything to correct it here? That's right, it gets worse. You're absolutely correct. We got to get this fixed, right? Now you've handled the bony side of it, okay? The next thing you have to do is you're going to go over why the soft tissue is giving it trouble, okay? So you go into soft tissue. This is critical. This is your time element, okay? This is where most doctors drop the ball and why they have patients falling out of care. You don't tie them down to a commitment of time and why they need to be coming in, then you're going to lose them pretty quick, okay? So it's real simple. Soft tissue is this. We know, based on fibrosis of repair, that any soft tissue injury takes a full year to remodel and be healthy and strong. That is simply physiology, okay? It takes that long. This is the explanation for it. All right, Andy, let's talk about your soft tissue, muscles, ligaments, tendons, okay? Remember in your exam when I was pushing on the low back, it felt like there was cord of steel? This is why that's happening. In normal tissue, you should have a very well-organized pattern. Okay? Allows that tissue to stretch, contract, you can get out of bed, you don't have to worry about anything. You can go run and jump, do all the things that you love to do. Okay? In your case, though, that soft tissue has been jarred out of alignment. Remember all those hits you took? Middle school, high school, college. That tissue in your low back's been jarred out of space. Now, here's the reality. Your body does not like that. It doesn't move very well. Matter of fact, it puts in something called scar tissue here. Now, we know what scar tissue is. It's soft tissue, but it's not the same. It doesn't move very well. Right? It gets stuck. So then what happens is the muscles go into spasm, and you end up with this big, ooky, gooey mess of muscle spasm that keeps you locked in bed for 2 hours. That's why you're having to get up 4 to get to work. Make sense? Gotcha. So Andy, what we have to do is take you from here all the way back over to here. Now, based on the way the body heals, from here, as close as we can get, because look, you got permanent damage in here. We're never going to be 100% again, but your body can get pretty darn close, okay? It takes almost a year to make that happen. So if we do a little bit, it takes weeks. A little bit more takes months. To get all the way over here, it takes your body 1 year. Now, Andy, Michelle, that doesn't mean I'm going to see him 3 times a week over the next year. It just means it takes your body that much time to completely heal. So in order to get you out of bed, get you more productive at work, so you can go spend time with Savannah and Ashley. Notice I keep using their names because they're 6 and 9 and they want to go to Disney World. That's the emotional connector. Right? You can get out of bed so you can make that trip with Disney and Ashley before they ship off to college. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to see you 3 times a week for the next 8 weeks. Now, Andy, can you be here the 3 times a week? 90+% of your patients are going to go, absolutely, I can make it happen. Because if they don't, I'm going to look directly to the wife. The wife's not there, and they don't give me a direct, but 90% of the time, this is where they go 3 times a week for the next 8 weeks. I can make that happen. Great. Now, you are drawing a line in the sand here, okay? If they can't commit to your treatment plan, you better figure out why, or you go no further, okay? There is about 2% of the population that simply go, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to come in 3 times. I just want you to pop my back today. I got it. I understand. You know, I don't think we're a good fit. Let me get you to somebody that I know is going to treat you in that way. And I'll send them to the joint. Okay, the joint, that's the joint. You know, this is the McDonald's of chiropractic. I am not the McDonald's of chiropractic, okay, at all. I'm the Fleming Steakhouse, right? I'm $250 a plate. Period. End of story. I'm not. That guy's not a good fit for me. Right? I just laid it all out. I showed him he's got a phase 2, early phase 2. It's going to take a minimum of 8 weeks to get you feeling better and get you stable. It's going to take a full year. I just want you to pop and crack me today. That's what my last chiropractor did. Let me send you to somebody who's going to be able to do that. Now that's that one objection. Here's the next objection. Okay, it's a real reason why they can't. Well, gosh, doc, I just don't know if I can make it 3 times a week. Tell me what's going on. Look, we're here 8 to 6, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. I mean, I got hours. I can be here. You know, we got plenty of time for you. I mean, I put in 14-hour days for my patients 3 days a week. Well, I said, what time do you get off work? Well, I get off work at 4:30. Okay, no problem. We're open until 6. My last patient about 5:30. How far away are you? I'm about 20 minutes from the office. Perfect, no problem. We'll have you here Monday, Wednesday, Friday after 5 p.m. That work for you? I got a business trip next week that I'm going to be gone for a week. Okay, problem, no problem. We'll just add that to the end of your care. Any other issues? No. I said, okay. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday after 5 o'clock, we'll make it happen. Now I have a time commitment for you. Not only do I have a time commitment, I peg you down to Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday after 5 p.m. I tied you down. Okay. If you don't have that at this point in time, there is no reason to go any further. Absolutely none. Okay. If the guy that says, I'm not going to do that, I just want you to pop and crack me, you literally walk that guy to the front desk, you hand him a joint card or whatever you got and send him on his way. Well, you're not going to adjust me today? No, I'm not that guy. I know what it takes. I know what I need in order to get you better. If you're just looking for somebody to treat you when you want to get treated and you want to dictate care, I'm not the best fit for you. It's simple. It's just parting ways. It's not bad feelings. It's just what it is. Okay. But you time down. This is why your schedules are completely jacked up if you're not doing this. If you're having people falling out of care after 3 to 6 visits when they're feeling better and they're not making it, and so on and so forth. And this is why you can't actually collect money up front on a lot of these guys. Okay. Now, let's go into, now that I got a time commitment, this guy's coming in Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. All right, Andy, let me tell you what we're going to do in order to get this problem correct. Now, this is where you start talking about back on track, knee on track. Because this is where specifically it's called the value study. Okay. You are going to add value. You are going to add so much value, you want them to think that this program is going to cost $20,000. All right. So, Andy, this is what we're going to do in order to get you better. Okay. This first phase of care is all about relief. I got to get you feeling better. All right. You can't be screaming in bed every morning. Your wife's going to divorce you if you do that. Okay. So, this is all about relief. The first thing I'm going to do for you is I'm going to do back on track. Okay. This is going to plump up that space, that tunnel that was completely jammed down. It's going to plump up that tunnel, plump up the disc, take the pressure off that nerve, and shut the pain going down to the neck. Okay, that is critical. We're going to do specific chiropractic adjustments. For you, I'm going to start you off with arthrostim. Okay, very gentle, very specific adjustments designed to get the bones moving your back much better, take the pressure off the nerves so your healing can crank up very high. I'm going to do cold laser on you. Cold laser is designed specifically to shut down pain, inflammation. It is absolute best non-pharmaceutical. You don't have to go to the drugstore to get it. Shut down pain if it's class 4. We're going to do home exercise plan. We use very simple care at home. Start with ice and heat contrast. I got just 2 exercises I want you to do. At this point in time, I'm going to do a re-exam. Andy, I expect a big high five. Okay, a big high five. Most of your pain should be gone at this point in time, at least 50%. If not, we're going to find out why. If you haven't improved here, I'm going to take a real close look at you and decide if we need to do an MRI. Next phase of care. This one's relief, right? Next phase of care is stability. Andy, I got to get you stable. If I don't get you stable, you're just going to slide right back to where you're at right now, screaming in bed when you move your big toe. We're going to continue the back on track. I've got to continue to stabilize that disc, bump up that space, take the pressure off the nerve so you don't start having that pain again. We'll continue the specific chiropractic adjustment. At this point in time, I'm going to add in some more manual stuff, probably the things that you had back when you were in college. Start getting the bones to move by hand a little bit more. We'll continue the cold laser to help with the pain and healing. At this point in time, we're going to do therapeutic exercises, okay? You're actually going to meet with my rehab tech, and he's going to go over some very specific stretching and stability exercises so that we can get you moving and grooving so that when you take off from Disney, we're going to be in good shape. Notice I drop things back in like that so that you can pick up Savannah and Ashley while you're on your trip. We'll be sprinkling those in, as Colin would say. My partner says, sprinkle things in. It's awesome. He also came up, he's the one that taught you that phrase. Colin's a good guy. So, at this point in time, we're going to do a second re-exam. Andy, I don't expect a high five or even 2 high fives. I expect a giant hug at this point in time because most of your pain should be completely gone. You'd be popping out of bed, and your boss will definitely not be considering you a drop at work. Okay? Now, we're going to move you into strength phase. Strength is critical. Okay? Remember how I told you it takes a full year? At the end of 8 weeks, you're just now starting to strengthen those fibers. So we got to get you strength. We'll continue the back on track. We got to make sure we're going to do that every single time you come in. We got to open up that space. You'll continue the adjustments. These are absolutely critical to make sure that your brain and neurological system are on track and doing what they need to do. We'll continue therapeutic exercises. I'm going to add in something called trigenics. This is going to fix all those muscle spasms that you're having. Okay? And at this point in time, I'm going to take x-rays right at 24 visits. I'm going to take a look at your first x-rays and your second x-rays. And when I put them up, you're going to see a difference. It may be a small change, but you're going to see a big difference. Sound good? Tiny back down. Absolutely. All right, now that's the value stack. Now, at this point in time, I want him to think that he's about to part with $20,000. Okay? If you don't do that, you don't build all this value into what you're doing, and you go, we're just going to do 6 visits and see how it goes. Who cares? Who cares? What does it matter, right? Matter of fact, I'm a chiropractor. I think everybody on this webinar is a chiropractor. How many of y'all adjust the spine to remove subluxation? I do. I bet you everybody in this webinar, I bet you every chiropractor within a 20-mile radius of you does the same thing. You better be unique and different, and you better explain why you're unique and different. Because this is what I'm going to talk about next. I'm going to talk about money. Now, in my system, when I learned from Closer Chiro, we did a 3-number system. Okay? So, Andy, I don't want you to worry about this first number too much. This is if you paid for every single thing we do every single time you come in. Okay? So, your insurance covers everything. By the way, I was a cash practice. We did not bill insurance. Only thing we accepted insurance was for a third party with our choice of lawyer and/or PIP. That was the only 2 forms that we did. Period. And it was a service for our existing patients most of the time. So your insurance is going to cover everything we do except 62.48. Again, I don't want you to worry too much about that. All right. So I have certain discounts built in based on how you want to pay. Look, we see so many patients that if we had everybody paying every single visit, I'd have to hire 5 more front desk staff, then I wouldn't be offering anybody a discount. So if you break it up into payments, I'm going to bring it down to 46.62. Yeah, these are just numbers. Now, Andy, what most patients do, they save the most money by just making one payment. One payment brings the cost of the program down to $39.95. So, Andy, which option works best for you? That's the close, guys. Which one looks better to you? 62.48, 46.62, or 39.95? Most people went for this one. Without a credit card, whatever it may be. But if you're not cold on your value stack and how you present numbers, okay, and look, these numbers are going to change. If you're doing insurance, these numbers are going to change all over the place. Okay, that's okay. But that was my typical 24 visits, low back pain, back on track, adjustment, cold laser for 8 visits, mild faster release, trigenics, therapeutic exercise. That was it. 24 visits, about $150 a visit on a prepay. Okay. The back on track, I'm going to plump up that disc space, open up the tunnel where the nerve lives. The knee on track, I'm going to gently milk that knee so we bring in more synovial fluid, milk nutrients into that joint so we can stabilize that knee, stabilize the ligaments, so we can get you back into running and playing soccer like you did in high school. That's the doc that came in on Friday. He played college soccer, he wanted to get back into playing soccer. That was his emotional connector, his life effect. Okay. Total brain and body O2. Andy, there is not one single cell in your body that's healthy that does not use oxygen. Okay. We're going to boost your entire healing and regenerative process by putting you on oxygen therapy twice a week so that we can increase your body's ability to heal itself and repair. Those are the 3 value stacks for back on track, knee on track, and total brain. Anybody have any questions? No? All right. So, hey, guys, don't forget about September 27th, 28th. That is our Secrets to $1 Million Practice. We're going to be giving away a back on track and a knee on track. Go to our website. Elizabeth is frantically getting that site, getting that page updated, but there are tickets available right now. We're heading. So, and if you bring a doctor that we don't know is the first time or doesn't have our equipment, as a doctor that has our equipment, you'll get an extra ticket into the drawing for the back on track. The on track, there'll be cash prizes. We're going to have stem cell speakers. We're going to have automated practice, functional neurology, chiropractic enterprise. It's going to be chock full of fantastic speakers. So get online, get your tickets as soon as possible. Mark the date, September 27th, 28th, at our world headquarters here in Conroe, Texas, guys. All right, keep saving lives and doing what you do.